broken line graph is a diagram that has a horizontal axis divided into units of time, and a vertical axis that displays the values of the qualitative characteristics studied, and in which the data recorded are represented by points that are then connected to one another by segment to form a broken line.
William Playfair was born on September 22, 1759 in Scotland. He is a Scottish engineer and political economist. He is generally considered the founder of graphical methods of statistics. William Playfair invented four types of diagrams: line graph, bar chart, pie chart, and circle graph. William Playfair is a key figure in the history of quantitative graphics. He was a popularizer and propagandist, a prolific designer of charts, and a developer of economic and business graphics. He established the line graph, especially the simple surface chart, as an important alternative to the table to the non-specialist reader. Although his charts were not quite so original as some have supposed, they do contain graphic design and ideas of great interest and occasional brilliance.
Broken line graphs are applicable to use when it's time to show changes in data. They display trends or patterns and help us make predictions. This type of line graph is used when it is necessary to show change over time. A line is used to join the values, but the line has no defined slope. However, the points are meaningful, and they all represent an important part of the graph. In a broken line graph, markers are used to represent amounts. These amounts are then joined together by straight lines. Markers can be dots, stars, or other representations. The broken line graphs is particularly useful for representing the distribution of a quantitative statistical characteristics. It is often used when illustrating a phenomenon that evolves over time.
Understanding how to build a broken line graph helps us to interpret the information it can provide. There are some essential components that every line graph needs. So, first step is it needs a title to describe the information contained in the graph. It also needs an x-axis, the horizontal line, the y-axis, the vertical line. Both of the axes needs to be labeled to show what they represent. The second part is creating a scale. In this, you can now input the title magazine sales, and as for the y-axis represents the number of magazines and x-axis represents the days. Step 3. Adding the data. Now that we have structured the graph, we can now begin adding the data points. So lastly, interpreting the graph. As you can see here, we had completed the broken line graph so that we can begin to interpret the information it provides. The most helpful aspect of the graph is that it clearly highlights the biggest potential issue.
The importance of broken line graph. Broken line graph is necessary shows changes over time. It refers to the measurement of cycle time from the moment the last good part of the previous process is produced or the changes of time to time. It is easy for us to identify the changes over time using the broken line graph. A line is used to join the value, but the line has no slope. Because in this line graph, we use vertical line that has no slope, or sometimes called as slope is unidentified. The points are meaningful. They all represent all important part of the graph. Connecting point also make it easier to draw conclusion about the trends in the graph. Lastly, it helps us to make prediction. Broken line graph is important because it helps us to make prediction for the future because it is very identifiable due to the changes shown over time. So the main importance of broken line graph is that broken line graph shows the changes from time to time. So it is easy for us to draw a conclusion, to make a prediction on what will happen for tomorrow because broken line graph shows everything in the graph.
So next, I'll be discussing to you about the summary of the topic. So the broken line graph was first discovered by the Scottish engineer named William Playfair. He is generally known to be the founder of graphical methods of statistics. Moreover, this graph is a diagram that has a horizontal axis divided into units of time and a vertical axis that displays the values of qualitative characteristics. Also, this is represented by points that are connected to one another by segments. Furthermore, this graph is important because it can help us make predictions and see the changes over time. So that will be all for our topic, which is the broken line graph. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.